I'm here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, no brains, no headache.
Well, hello, boys.
What's up? What's up?
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Episode 207, No Brains, No Headache podcast starts live right about now. Welcome to the Studio del Ongo, as they say. That's my co-host, Matt Cleary, my longtime friend, fellow comedian, confidant. I'll be your host today, Jordan Weichel, and boy, do we have a doozy for you. And by doozy, I mean the energy is low. Yeah. We're going to find it at some point. But the body, the mind has taken a toll lately, and we're just powering through it. That's what we do at No Brains, No Headache.
I have not felt this shitty in so long.
Honestly, I probably have COVID right now. Yeah. I'm good for one COVID every summer. You know that.
Yeah.
It ruins a lot of things. Am I gonna confirm that? No. I'm speculating right now.
It's like I have a headache because not like that I drank a ton. Well, because I did, but I literally like fell through a chair and broke it with my head.
Yeah, an externally caused headache, not internal.
So like it's actually like Tommy getting hit by the 2x4 when he's like not so much here. It's like not so much here.
Yeah.
It's like it's a little painful.
Yeah.
But then like long weekend, you know, what are you going to do? And have you ever been growing up when you're like, wow, when I'm older, I'm definitely going to need a grappling hook?
Not me personally. I've never really thought about the grappling hook.
Well, I bought a grappling hook.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
Dude, this thing comes with like 150 feet of rope, too.
Oh, my sweet Jesus.
That's nice. That's the heavy duty rope. Let me see that. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. That's not coming apart.
I don't know when I would need this, but
like we talked about, you know, it's your life isn't going to get any worse with the grappling hook. If it's it's either going to stay neutral or improve. So then you went ahead with the grappling hook. Just play it safe. You never know.
I mean,
are you going to carry that around with you?
Imagine,
not going to do much good if it's sitting here.
Imagine if someone sees me mowing my lawn and I just have a grappling hook dangling by my side.
Well, it'd be better that time than you mowed your lawn and your shirt was on backwards. And
my neighbor thought I had a disability. Yeah. Oh, it's really good of you to mow your own lawn. And I was like, what?
Well, but then I think if that same person sees you now with a grappling hook, it'll confirm their speculation of you just being a little on the slower side, and that's okay. That's fine, but yeah, that person is definitely going to really double down on their speculation of what you have going on.
It's a pretty dope grappling hook.
I would say we're probably, top 2 grappling hook podcasts in the upper Midwest. That's a safe statement, no?
I don't think there's anything really in this studio that serves a purpose outside of being in this studio.
And that's why it's here.
Yeah.
I'm looking around. It's like, why do we have a 2001 Seattle Mariners, lunchbox? Because it's awesome. Why do we have not only a Jeff Gordon book, but also a Jeff Gordon action figure?
Like, I don't know if my house were to ever get robbed and they'd be like, I'm going to blow your head off unless you have a 9/11 remembrance statue.
Okay. I mean, in that case, that's why you have it here. I was actually on my way to the studio. I saw somebody at my apartment. I said, hello, passed by. And all of a sudden she said, don't park outside, by the way. My car got broken into last night. I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate. She's like, yeah, they threw a rock right through the windshield.
Oh, that is just funny.
I was just like, I'm sorry to hear that. And she's like, yeah, and apparently the camera on that side of the building wasn't working. Damn. So that's why I just have my work truck there.
Yeah.
If you're really jonesing to break into a 2000 Chevy S10 single cab with a little bit of rust on the right side, I have the car
Yeah,
for you.
if you leave the rock that you threw through the windshield, you might be coming out ahead on that one.
Yeah, gained a rock out of the deal.
One of my favorite things to do would be like when someone would lock their keys in the car and you try to like put a wedge up and like use a coat hanger to like hit the thing. But you'd be looking up all these YouTube videos of like how to break into like a Chevy Nextera or whatever car. And then it would be a guy that would go through the whole thing and he'd be like, all right, you're going to want to go over to your garden and find a huge boulder. And you're going to want to throw that through the windshield.
Yeah, or if you have a 35-pound dumbbell weight laying around,
Yep.
you can be like, join the Smalls from Sandlot Club. Talked about it last episode.
He only threw one, so there's another one out there that doesn't have a partner that could
would
go.
be a good candidate
Yep.
for throwing through to break into your 2001 Chevy Malibu and get your keys that you locked in. I go through phases, Matt. I'm very close to having another one. If it happens one more time, it's going to happen. But locking my keys in my car. Went to lunch just the other week, and I took off my apartment keys and my truck keys, and like a dumbass, I threw the truck keys in and locked it. And yeah, about 10 steps away, I realized
That's
what
the
I had
worst,
done.
because then you're like, oh, I'm going to still go have lunch, but now I know that I just have this looming issue that I got to come out to.
Well, the person I had lunch with, they just called somebody up that owes them a favor. I had my keys by the end of lunch.
So
I lucked out there.
That's why Bismarck is the perfect size town. Like, it's big enough to have a Walmart, but it's also big enough to have a guy that owes you a
Small
favor.
enough where you know the locksmith personally.
Exactly.
It's like, yeah. I bailed him out one time. He
Yeah.
owes me. But yeah, and then I go in phases. I was at the lake. We'll talk about it a little more, but I had a little scare there that I locked my keys in my car. But I did it. So we're close, but you got to avoid the phase of locking your keys in your car and everything of that nature. How did we get on this?
I don't really know. We went from grappling hooks to locking your keys. If I ever locked my keys in my car, I might pry the grappling hook in there.
Or you could just throw it through the window. Let me see that thing again.
It's pretty heavy duty.
The thing about a grappling hook, though, like, we could go to your shed maybe, but we can't even go to your roof because this is going to cause some serious damage. It says not for climbing on it.
Well, that's when you know it's for climbing.
Yeah. This could break a window.
Oh, it's
Easy.
so much cordage. Yeah.
Okay.
But this is like,
And it looks like you could even adjust that.
yeah.
If you wanted to customize it a little bit.
Move this.
So if it's not for climbing, what is it for?
I'm trying to think like what else Batman would use it for.
Like if for some reason you're like stuck on one floor of a parking garage and you have to get like down one or two, grappling hook situation.
You can tell the knot I tied's not good enough and it just breaks and
I feel like grappling hooks is like kind of like the Florida Man, where it's just like Florida Man arrested wielding a grappling hook.
If you live in Florida, they'll give you a grappling hook just for free.
I think if you buy real estate in Florida, the agents, it's as part of your little welcome package. You know, there's like a bottle of booze and some cleaning solution and then a grappling hook.
If it's under $100,000 in Florida, you get a grappling hook. If it's over $100,000, you get like that Elon Musk portable flamethrower.
Yes. The grappling hook.
If it's over $1 million, you get a Cybertruck.
I would say stay tuned on the grappling hook. You don't really know what's going to happen. Just kind of like this episode, 207, no brains, no headache. Matt, let's get into it. Without further ado, grappling hook, taken care of.
The Olympics is coming up, and I, for one, could not care less about anything else in my entire life.
So this is the Summer Olympics, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of events do we have in the Summer
There's like
Olympics?
swimming and track and field, but like there's no superstars.
Well, that's where they're going to be born here, buddy. Let's see. Oh, man, there's all sorts of stuff. Archery. What does athletics mean? It's just,
That's track.
they just call it athletics. I feel like that's
kind of
oversight.
just a cop out. What if they didn't put anything else on the sheet and they were just like, it's athletics?
They have sport climbing. You think they have any grappling hooks?
Oh, for
going on
sure.
there? Handball could be interesting.
Is that where you just jerk each other off for like an extended period of time?
No, I think that's called a hand job. But I mean, I like where your head's at. I don't know. Canoe slalom?
That one is actually pretty cool. It's like they have man-made rapids that you go through like this course.
Okay. I do like rhythmic gymnastics, and I'll say basketball. I'll say it.
Oh yeah, flag football's in it this year.
Skateboarding?
Yeah, that's like Shaun White usually goes to that.
There you go. So swimming, that's like, Michael Phelps.
Yeah,
doing his
but I
thing.
mean, like Katie Ledecky, I think still might be in it, but she like does one event, and she's like, this is her 7th Olympics. So
Maybe is there just a turnover in Olympic athletes
I
right
just
now?
think there's a turnover in people giving a shit about the Olympics because
It's not an honor to win a medal for your country.
I just don't think it means as much as it used to.
Will Ukraine be participating this year?
They lost a lot of good athletes out there.
That's actually a good question.
I know Russia won't.
They don't? They don't
No.
do this one? Do they ever do them?
They keep
Will
getting.
Ukraine win the war?
Well,
valid question,
let's go down
too.
that. Oh,
Does Ukraine compete in the Olympics? According to Google. What? This is some of the best.
see, that was just so many words right away, and we're both just kind of brain dead right now. So I was just like
3 days ago. Yes.
I know Russia has like a ton of people that have gotten banned.
Okay, now we'll do Russia. Seems right. Matt, I think you're getting a lot better at foreign relations. Oop, spelled Russia wrong. Doping violations.
Yeah, see, they're still in that, but then they also like keep doing another thing wrong, like following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. It's like, damn it, we're trying to
Okay.
like get them back on track.
Sounds like some of them will be allowed to compete as individual neutral athletes without their flags, anthems, and emblems.
Yeah, so they're like literally called the Olympic athletes from Russia.
Kind of like Notre Dame in football.
Yeah,
Independent.
just independent.
And also shitty.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my God, don't get me started.
Anywho, I don't really care about the Olympics, but it's going to be something to watch. Although, terrible time of the year, not watching a whole lot of television these days.
But it's always like 6 hours ahead of us, and they also air it at a different time. So like they'll put the 100-meter dash at 6 o'clock like U.S. time, but it happened earlier in the day, and social media exists, so everyone knows.
So you know?
So everyone knows who wins, and
It
so,
kind of just ruins the idea I just had. I was like, maybe me and you should just pick a very random event and take it very seriously. But I'm not going to be able to put true emotion into it if it happened hours ago and then I'm seeing it.
because I mean, I think you can like watch it, like stream it, watch it
Live?
at like live at the time, but it'd be like, well, all right, 8:30 on a Wednesday morning instead of waiting
It's a good time to get drunk.
Yeah.
Cheer for your country.
Yep. And I mean, there's like a lot of things that the U.S. are just going to suck at. And then another thing I wanted to talk about was how India, having 3 billion people, win 1 medal a year.
That not good?
It's pretty terrible.
Well, I don't think they
if you-
crank out athletes. They crank out, keyboard warriors.
Well, if you have 30% of the population on Earth, you'd think that you'd able to win more than like one, and it's always in like air rifle.
Yeah, what are they competing in?
Actually, India is pretty good at wrestling,
Yeah, and water polo, I hear.
but like, and then like China does pretty well most of the time. Russia does pretty well.
So who's good at judo? I feel like that
Brazil.
originates somewhere. Is judo Brazilian?
I think like Brazil and
Japan.
yeah. But the U.S. has some pretty good judo people.
Oh wait, practice outside of Japan. So we got France, Europe. Yeah.
There's also another thing coming out that's called the Enhanced Games, where it's just the Olympics, but they let you take steroids.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
And so the talk about pay not being that much for the Olympic athletes, that they were like, okay.
You ever heard of Pride?
Well, in the Enhanced Games, if you win the 100-meter dash, you win $1 million.
Oh really? Mm-hmm. Who's putting this on? Elon?
It's guy similar to Elon.
Dana White?
It's like a guy like that. He just
Jeff
has
Bezos.
a shitload of money. I can't even remember his name, but he was on Rogan not too long ago.
Love it.
Yeah, but it could be super cool.
What if they're just sprinting and one of them just pulls out a handgun and shoots the guy in front of him?
anything,
He's like,
anything goes? Honestly, like in hands games, you'd only want to have stuff that's like weightlifting, and you wouldn't like rhythmic gymnastics of just someone that's juiced out of their mind, elegantly floating around.
Or do you think they take like testicle measurements for studies to kind of just see the effect steroids has on the body?
I mean, it could be a good way of getting around doing like human trials for some of that stuff.
Yeah, if these people are going to do steroids, let's get some research out of the deal and not just entertainment.
I think like a home run derby would be sweet.
Oh man, yeah, but who's? No, I don't
There's
know.
a lot of guys out there on the internet who can hit the ball 500 plus feet.
But it's all about name recognition and branding. If it's just some, mediocre YouTuber guy, it could be sweet though.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's one of those things that's like I just want to see people crush the ball.
I want to watch them do the steroids, kind of like a second-hand thing.
So they have like a behind the scenes show where it's like, all right, here's where the guy goes into the clinic and just gets shot up.
Yeah, or they're just in the locker room like pre-event.
It would be pretty similar to Drago or whatever his name is in Rocky 4.
Is he doing all the drugs in the locker room?
Yeah, and then he has like the face mask on and he's like running on a treadmill and they have all the science shit around him.
Is he doing steroids too?
Oh yeah, he came out like was on mega steroids.
The actor or the human?
Both.
Okay, so he was method acting. He was taking his job serious.
Oh yeah.
Do you think actors, actresses, do you think they ever just do if they play a role of being a junkie, do you think they just become one for a little bit there?
I mean, a junkie maybe not, but like a guy that like works out a ton or something, I'm sure they have to take a shitload of steroids and work out like 30 times a day.
30 times in a day?
Yeah, every 20 minutes or the body starts eating himself. It's like those guys that walk around with peanut butter sandwiches in their pocket because they're like, if I don't eat every 2 hours.
You know people who do that?
Yeah.
Does sound kind of nice.
Yeah,
but
it's just they always have peanut butter sandwiches in their pocket. It's like, if I don't eat every 2 hours, my body starts digesting itself. Like, I have not eaten in 48 hours, and I feel...
You haven't?
No, I haven't eaten very much.
You've been drinking?
Water, yeah.
Not the sauce?
Nope. Not the sauce. I'm off the sauce.
Oh, are you?
Yep.
Like at this moment? It's a yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Olympics. Paris, is it?
Yep.
Right on, 2024. Check it out, I guess. Somebody sent us an email earlier. Clearly a spam email. They're like, we love your ranking game, the Olympics. I was like,
Yeah,
we do too, but have not played that one in, I don't know, 5-6 months probably.
Yeah, it's been a while.
That's all right. We're just going to, we're going to keister it for a while. It's always going to be there. But yeah, happy belated 4th of July, man. How was it? You feel free, like freedom running through your veins?
4th of July is one of those that I'm very excited for as it's coming up. But after it gets done, I'm like, wow, I can't keep doing this to myself.
I mean, I don't really feel great right now, but I don't think that's what it's about, you know. You do it for the guy, the gal next to you. It's a selfless thing, you know. Did I want to drink 26 beers in one day? No. But I did it for the countrymen and women next to me. Okay?
I do like the 4th of July. I like that I've gotten into this rhythm as like family members have kids and it's more low key. It's not like, all right, we're going to go down to the river and this cooler of beers is
Somebody is
gone.
losing their fingers if I have anything to say
Yeah.
about it.
It's like I just used to plan to go down to the river and we'd like play on this channel and like hang out. Now it's just like go have a chill day. And
See, I still do that, but I also supplement it with, just a lot of intake, you could say. You know, like, was the fourth taco in a bag necessary? Absolutely not. After I already had a cheeseburger.
Oh, taco
but I
bag
did it.
is so good, though.
I did it, you know, for the countrymen and women next to me. That's what it's all about.
It's our God-given right that if they give up their life for this country, that we can.
I mean, at one point, I was just double fisting ribs, and that was a higher point of my weekend. I think there was like some country music blaring. It was night. It was dark out. I was sweating a little bit, I remember, from the ribs. Good old rib sweat.
Was it one of those that you grabbed some, or did you grab one and started eating it and then forgot there was ribs? So you were like, oh, ribs. And then you already had like two.
No, I kind of grabbed a clump of them, and then I was trying to get the meat in between. So like a Neanderthal, I ripped him apart, and it was just kind of like, and when you do that, you alternate.
Oh, ribs are so good.
Yeah. But it just looked like I was doing ski pulls a second ago, and I apologize to any children watching out there. But yeah, I was a real garbage disposal at the lake. I went up Wednesday to Sunday. For those of you scoring at home, that is 4 nights of, you know, it's long days at the lake. You're just on your own schedule. We went through the lake schedule earlier this summer, and I mean it was pretty par. Kind of ruins your schedule when you stay at partying till 4 or 5 a.m., you know? But I was still responsible at the lake. You could sometimes slip a little bit, you get a little irresponsible. I still kept my wits about me, you know? I wasn't getting behind the motorized vehicles. Let's just say if I took my nieces on a jet ski ride, it was earlier in the day. Okay, they knew they had a certain time of the day where they're like, we better go ask Uncle Jordy for a ride. Because at certain points, I literally have an excuse to say no that nobody can argue with.
Yeah. You know what, Jordan? Get out there and drunk drive your nieces and nephews.
Well, you know, sometimes you do it by design. But it was an absolutely fun time. Weather could have been just, you know, I hate to be the weather guy, but it could have been better. Especially when you're at the lake, it's like, I want it to be hot. I don't want to have to think twice about jumping in.
Yep.
I want to go straight into that sucker. And I'm not very tolerant to cold water or temperatures in general. But I still did. And you get used to it pretty quick.
Yeah.
But
I think that, like, it always seems like you never get, like, the perfect week. That if you're taking a vacation or something or going to a lake cabin, you never get a perfect week.
Well, today, the Monday post celebration, we're not 100%. But you know, it is the weather right now. It's gorgeous out there. It's warm. It's sunny out. Yeah. Let's just say, you know, if you take some mind-altering substances and it starts raining, it's not ideal.
Yep.
Okay? It's like, wow, I was not planning very well with this. I did wear my sandals for 4 straight days.
Get any flip-flop tan lines?
No, I avoided. I'm doing pretty well. I'm glad you brought it up. I've tweeted this a few times, but yeah, my legs, summertime, they look like the variety pack of ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
The vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate. My upper thigh is the vanilla. The top of the knee always gets just a little crispy, a little burnt, so that's the, what is it, strawberry?
Yep, the Neapolitan ice cream.
And then the rest of my lower leg is a nice, solid bronze, which is the chocolate.
Can we talk about the ice cream brands branding that as Neapolitan ice cream flavor?
That's what they're saying it is?
Yeah, it's the Neapolitan ice cream flavor.
I was just calling it the variety pack, I guess.
It's just all they did was take 3 singular flavors and put them next to each other. You didn't invent really anything.
That was already invented. You just put them together.
And then named it after a warlord.
Well, I did see... I was at the liquor store, and they were offering, you know, those, like, single cocktails that you can make where it comes with a cup and then, like, a shooter or two and then, like, a mixer or something.
I always watch videos of those.
It is cool, but then I was looking at the price. I'm like, okay, or I could just... That's the same price it would be if I had a bartender make it for me. You know, like, I didn't really...
Yeah, I like watching the videos of it, but I'm probably never going to do it.
And then you still need ice. But
my favorite, like, 4th of July thing is where there's always, like, a lakeside warehouse that sells beer and fireworks at the same time.
Yeah, there's sometimes slim pickings, though, not the best variety. But that comes with the territory. But, yeah, I realized that I did pack a pair of shoes, and they never left my bag. So that's when you know you're firing on all cylinders, where you wore the same shitty sandals all weekend long. Really having flashbacks to Wii Fest because it was a 4-dayer for me, and like I was just trying to keep up. But thank God I had the luxury of the new cabin. I also had 2 sips of water all weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to consciously be like, because you finish a drink and you're like, well, you go to grab another one. And no.
I would have to go out of my way not to get another drink.
Yeah, pretty much. And then, so I had a great time, did some fireworks, did the whole $300 firework run. Well, here's what you do. Here's a pro tip.
You go into your parents' purse and you steal their credit card.
It was the best contribution I could come up with, but what you do is you go to the fireworks stand, and you need to go with a reputable name, okay? Unfortunately, you can't just go with the guy on the side of the road. I mean, you can. He probably got illegal stuff for you, but you might as well say goodbye to about 3 or 4 of your fingers at a time.
This is just a stick of dynamite.
Yeah, pretty much. So what I did when I got to the fireworks stand, thankfully I knew somebody there, but I just waved him down. I'm like, hey, what's up? Do you want to be my personal shopper? I was in and out of that bitch in like 15 minutes. And he knew exactly what he was doing. I gave him the price range. I said, let's stay in there. Good salesman, too. We went over the price range that I discussed, but then he gave me a free firework. I'm like, wow, dude, you really know your shit. He's like, yeah, I've been working here for 18 years. So, yeah, pro tip, if you're like, because do you know anything about fireworks?
No.
All the small ones, maybe we know.
Yeah.
The smoke bombs. By the way, smoke bombs these days, terrible.
Yeah, not great. I remember I would just get like bottle rockets or Dakota Dynamites or like M80s or whatever you call them and like blow up army men with them, or
just like a straight up scene out of Toy Story.
Yeah, like you would set them up and then you'd like take turns throwing them in, and if you like
are things okay at home?
Yeah, I mean it was kind of weird. Now that I look back at it, it's like, oh, this guy doesn't have any legs. You win.
Well, even smoke bombs, I feel maybe it's just terrible memory, but I feel you'd light a smoke bomb off as a kid. You couldn't like see 10 feet in front of you for at least 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And nowadays, you're lucky if you get like 10 seconds.
Unless you go to the legal ones where the guy's actually selling you like smoke grenades from a
and it just kills
military
every insect it comes in contact
Got
with.
these from a military surplus sale. It's like, what's this? Oh, that's a homemade pipe bomb. You're probably not going to want to buy those.
Yeah, it was awesome, though. I love watching fireworks. Where are you at on watching them, just taking them in?
I don't really care anymore, to be honest. Like, it's fun, like, if I'm up at a lake, I'll for sure watch it. But it's like, oh, let's go to the Capitol and watch the fireworks. It's like, oh, sweet. So I can see the same show that I've seen for literally the last 30 years of my life.
The lake was nice because even on
you get random ones that are like going off.
It was even the Friday, the 5th, was the most fireworks, more than the actual 4th of July. And so, we were just on the pontoon, literally had the wheel turn, so we were just doing 360s in the bay. And it was awesome because you were just getting all angles of fireworks. And it was smoky. It's good when it's like you can that's the kind of smoke bomb I want.
Yeah, I want one that's like, wow, this is kind of dangerous.
But I want one smoke bomb to feel like I just lit off 30 minutes of fireworks straight. Yep.
I want to inhale some fumes.
We're going to do that anyway. Let's see. I also did a small town wedding dance, and I was tearing up the dance floor. And I could just see the local sheriff just staring me down. And I'm like, well, I'm not doing anything illegal yet. Because I kept, you're in a small town. I kept asking the locals where the ghetto was because I wanted to go check it out. They're like, oh yeah, it's just 2 blocks
Yeah.
over.
Oh yeah. It's like, well,
And it's just 1 block.
yeah, the town's only 4 blocks, so you're never that far away from anything.
Every small town has 1 main street, 2 gas stations, 6 bars.
3 churches.
Yeah, 3 churches.
And then
1 drug street where it's just
well,
like,
or like the drug street is not what they actually like. People were like, oh, this is where the crappy people go. It's like people just like moved out of there because they're like, wow, this house got pretty old. I'm just going to go buy a new house. And then they just don't sell their old house because it's like worth $13,000. And it's like more work for them to actually sell it than it would be to stay in it. So just like, well, now it's the bad part of town.
yeah,
Because my old cousin, Tim,
we
lives
really
in it.
let that one go. Keep inheriting it from their parents, and
Yeah.
they just keep handing down
To, like-
poor lifestyle habits
Yeah,
through
it's like-
generation to generation.
Yeah, if anyone wants to move back to Timbuktu, they can have this house for free. And it's like, well, there's always one cousin that loves drugs that he is definitely going to take a free place to stay.
Love me some Timbuktu. But yeah, I guess that's all I got. We should probably keep moving it along, Matt. We said we were gonna have a quick episode, and we're actually pacing for quite a doozy. But hey, here to party. Name's Jordan.
This one's quick.
Yeah, I think all of them are quick from now on.
So bucket seats in cars,
Game changer.
how did they not exist before like 2004?
I think efficiency. They're trying to cram in as much people. Do you remember the old station wagon where the way back row it faces the back?
Yeah.
Yeah, the old school families had a lot more children than these days. So they were trying to go for efficiency. We got to fit all 7 kids in this biatch.
And like pulling the seat out so you could like crawl in wasn't really a thing. You would just go over the top of it and like kick someone in the head.
You got to give innovation and evolution some time.
Like I was thinking about that, and like bucket seats really didn't exist until like 2005.
Yeah, good bucket seats though makes all the difference. I don't have any personally, but when I do get into a Lyft or an Uber with a crew, and there's some bucket seats, it's like shit. Yeah, I don't even mind going to the way back middle.
See now
the way back middle.
Now they're
Thank
even
you.
doing like bucket seats in both rows because they're like, we're having less and less kids. Let's just put bucket seats in here because they're more comfortable. Granted, I do like a back row because if you're ever a little hungover on a road trip and you want to fall asleep.
For sure. Yeah, I think they're just trying to cram as many bodies in there as possible, and the bucket seats take away one seat.
And I think logistically it's probably easier to make just one big sheet than like cutting up different like
Yeah,
sheets
they
of
were
metal.
making these cars, and there was world wars going on and shit, man. It's the auto industry is a whole thing. As a man who has watched Rust Valley Restorers probably, I don't know, 200 times over and over.
I did start watching it yesterday actually.
Well, I kind of slowly getting my family into it because I would put it on the TV at the lake cabin, but then I'd go wander off to do whatever. And so I'd come back like a few hours later, and I just hear Avery cackling. And
Dude, that show needs to get so much more respect.
we're telling our listeners, and we don't try to tell you how to live your lives too often, but Netflix, Rust Valley Restores, even if you're not into vehicles, Matt and I, we don't know shit about vehicles. My windshield wiper, dude, was on the fritz, and I was driving through a downpour the other day and going 80. It's not ideal.
I was literally driving and I did one and it went one time and then it just stopped working.
Yeah, mine went up and then never came back down.
And I was driving
on the driver's side.
and I was driving with Bertie Mac and I was like, well, this should be fun the rest of the way. And I was like, my head's out the window, just like
You'd do it pulling an Ace Ventura with your head sticking out.
God, it sucked.
Yeah, we should have a windshield wiper day where we kind of sit down. Maybe we can combine that with the cigarette day
Yeah.
because we still need to do that.
But anyways, Rust Valley Restores on Netflix it's like people watching, but you're doing it on Netflix.
Yeah, you're a fly on the wall for perhaps the most entertaining duo in Canadian reality television.
These guys, and I know we've talked about it before, have no sense of what money is or eating utensils.
The one dude's mom lives on a farm home that doesn't even have running water.
And she just had like a 1930s, like super nice tea bucket just in a barn.
Model T, yeah. Actually, just watched that one.
Yeah. And also she like doesn't have a lot of hair.
Okay. It's decided. I'm getting another Mortar Trend subscription in the podcast name.
I mean, that just
for research purposes.
Yep.
But yeah, other things in television entertainment. Hard Knocks. Offseason. First season of Hard Knocks where they're doing the offseason.
I actually really liked it.
Yeah, it's with the New York Giants this time on HBO. And I think the Giants are some real pieces of shit, personally, as a Vikings fan, as well as just a neutral bystander. The fact that the Vikings lost to the Giants in the playoffs 2 years ago, I'm still kind of processing that a little bit.
The fact that the Panthers haven't made the playoffs since like I was in high school.
Oh yeah, because what is the Giants general manager used to be some sort of head scout for the Panthers or something like that.
Like back in the Jake Delhomme days.
So yeah, they show the offseason stuff. A lot of the Senior Bowl, the Shrine Game. They'll get into the draft, not quite there yet, but free agency is the big one. And they're at like one of those college games, and that scene where he's talking to the Panthers guys. Doesn't that guy just sound defeated?
Oh, damn.
Because he goes, do you want to move up to 6 from 33? And he said something like, I'm never moving up again.
He's like, if anything, we're moving back.
Yeah.
And we're not even going to get anything for it. We're just going to go back.
Yeah, and then he just completely hinted that his best defensive player is more than likely going to be a free agent.
It was similar to like us trading.
This is fantasy football.
Yeah, or trading like items at a lunch table in elementary school. It's like, if you give me your carrot cake, I'll give you two chicken
trading?
nuggets.
I mean, carrot cake, it's good in its own respect, but is anybody trading for carrot cake?
And the lunch carrot cake
the Carolina Panthers would trade.
Yeah, if there's ever a school shooting, you can use the carrot cake to block a bullet because it is rock hard.
Or try to bribe the shooter with carrot cake. I don't think
you could throw the carrot cake as a
I think
projectile.
chocolate pudding would probably be a better offering than the carrot cake.
But they just casually and he did the Mike Hall thing where he lowered his asking price
without them countering.
Within 2 sentences from, would you want to give 2 first rounds for Brian Burns? No. He's like, well, like a first and maybe something else. And I'm like, that was 15 seconds.
Where he just negotiated himself out of it. He counter-offered himself.
And when they were talking about signing Saquon, when he's like, well, we could offer him like $7 million, but I don't want him to like hear about this and that be offensive. I'm like, you realize HBO is filming right now, and he is going to see this.
Wait, what did they say?
They're like, we could offer him like $7 million, but I don't want to like
Saquon.
I don't want to offend him. Yeah.
I
don't want to offend him. Like, I don't want him hearing this. And it's like HBO's filming right now, and
didn't it just come out yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Saquon. I mean, that's the thing about this is we all know. Saquon is going to the Eagles.
Yeah.
So, but love me some good Hard Knocks on HBO. So check that out. And
I think the off-season one, this could be like one of my favorite ideas because I don't really like the training camp one unless it's a really interesting team.
What I like about the training camp one is it's almost live, you could say, because it's a week-to-week thing where they shoot it and produce it all in that week. Whereas this, like we were just saying, we all know that Saquon doesn't end up back with the Giants. So that doesn't help.
One of the big things that kind of steered me away from it in the past, though, is that they stopped doing like the live, like cutting people, because that was like the best sound clips you get out of the whole thing. When the guy's like, he's in the middle of getting cut, he's like, "Can I call my grandma?" The guy's like, "We're letting you go." He's like, "Yeah, I gotta let my grandma though."
Yeah, no, she's on her way with some groceries.
Yeah,
the cutting scene, and here's how every cut goes. Yeah, come on in, have a seat. Good to see you. Yeah, hey, how are you doing? Yeah, so we're gonna let you go. You have great talent. Yeah, you do great things. We appreciate everything you've done for us. But if you're not out of the building in 15 minutes, Hector here is going to beat the piss out of you. Grab your shit and get out.
We actually already threw all your stuff in garbage bags, and it's in the parking lot. If you don't get out there in 5 minutes, it will be set on fire. Just
We've
gonna let you
called
know.
the local homeless population. They're on their way to loot through your things.
That's like when Taylor Luan got cut from the Titans. He took a picture of his front door of his house, and there was just garbage bags of stuff. And he's like, "Thanks, at Titans."
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you don't have to go through the agony of packing up all your stuff, but
And it always makes you like fall in love with like one character who eventually gets cut like right before the season. You're like, I already drafted him on my fantasy team.
yes, watching Hard Knocks can make you fall in love with certain people. But I also did notice some of the clips they would use of like their defensive players was from like 3 years ago because they showed a guy sacking Drew Brees, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Drew Brees hasn't been in the league in it'll be 3 years now.
They also, and I get the Giants are a pretty storied history, like 4 Super Bowls and like a bunch
That
of
just blows my mind.
a bunch of it, but it's like, yeah, but like recently, have they really done anything?
Well, and that's the thing with professional sports. Unless there's a couple of franchises, organizations out there that get the pass. I would say, as much as we hate it, the Yankees are always going to be, no matter if they recently or not, because they haven't won one since 2009. They're still going to get that respect because they're a dynasty.
Like the Packers too, like get it with like because they won the first Super Bowl.
Yeah, Lakers and Celtics.
If anyone could like play out of it, it has been the Bears, because the Bears were kind of in that same, like the '85 Bears, like they were in that same like dynasty window, but they've been so horrendous that they might be out of it now.
Yeah, but there's some organizations that automatically get that respect. I would say the cutoff is right before the Cowboys because they are just so scrutinized.
Yep.
Because they've won, they've won a decent amount of Super Bowls and had a fair amount of success compared to the rest of the league, but it's not the Patriots dynasty is the most recent with arguably the Chiefs right now.
Yep.
So they get their respect. I think it also has to deal with fan bases, right? Would you agree? Because you could say that the Steelers are actually, pretty good in the last, let's just say, 25 years.
The Steelers have
But
only
I hate
had
them.
Yeah, they've only had like 3 coaches since like 1972.
The Ravens have won it twice since in the last 25 years, pretty much 2000 till now. Not the biggest fan of them either.
I just saw this thing. It was like what every NFL team last sold for. And in 1920, someone bought the Bears for $100.
Yeah, they probably emptied their whole pocketbook on that and were broke for a while.
It's like
what year was it?
1920. And then in 1925,
Yeah.
the Giants were bought for $500.
Yeah, you bought it in 1920, and 13 years later, you're just in the middle of a depression. It's like, dude, I shouldn't have spent $100 on these idiots playing football.
Well, most of your players were like plumbers and shit. What if you forgot that you had bought in the team, and like 30 years later, they're like, hey, we want to bring an NFL team to Chicago.
It's like buying Bitcoin to go on the whatever highway, Silk Road or whatever,
Yeah.
to like buy drugs and stuff. It's like, oh, I forgot I bought Bitcoin. Next thing you know, you got some value. All right, we got to keep the energy going. And we got some quick ones before we end out. All I have here is tough look. Eating cereal straight out of the box with no milk. And that's all I have about that.
I could argue that's not a tough look.
What would you say is a tough look? Ooh, you had a
depends
good one.
on the cereal.
A tough look is calling in sick on July 3rd, like
Yep.
you did on socials.
Yep.
Even and especially when you are actually sick.
Yeah, that's tough.
Tough look is calling in sick right around a holiday when you're actually sick.
And that's usually when I do get sick, is around holidays. Like I'm always sick around like Christmas / my birthday. Like every year I end up getting like the flu or something.
We need to tighten up your immune system
Yep.
almost immediately.
Yep. We need to do something about that.
Not right now. I'm not feeling 100%. But any other tough looks you can think of? Going into 4th of July weekend with 10 fingers, coming out with less than that. Any number less than that.
Jason Pierre-Pauling yourself. It's a deep cut. For the longest time, actually, it was literally 2 days of my life. I don't know why I said for the longest time, but my lock screen on my phone was a picture of Jason Pierre-Paul's hand.
That's interesting. Tough look, sticking with the summer theme. When a baseball player swings and misses and strikes out, and the ball also hits them, preferably in the dick.
Oh, that's actually hilarious. Oh, did you see the Braves coach take a foul ball right off the beanbags?
No, I didn't.
It was their manager, like in the dugout, and this thing went through a perfect pocket and just right in the nuts.
Yeah. I mean, do you think it would be the worst thing in the world to be on a major league roster where you just play every once in a while, but your job is secure enough where you're not bouncing back and forth from the minors? Like, dude, hanging out in an MLB dugout and getting paid, whatever it is. Like
Patrick Wisdom plays every 10 days.
Yeah, but he's still on the roster every day.
Yeah.
He's still there. Like, you know what the best job in the world might be? Some say backup quarterback. I argue dugout guy.
Yeah, a punter on a good team.
Yeah.
Like the Chiefs punter. It's like, wow, he's doing really well. It's like they haven't punted in 2.5 months.
Yeah, they signed their punter to a record-breaking punter deal. It's like, well, they have all this money to spend.
Or you could be like Iowa's punter and punt so much that you break the record by a lot, and now your leg is just not attached to your body anymore.
Tough Looks, brought to you by Jordan. Is it the best segment we've ever done? No. It is pretty far down there. Are we going to attempt jokes? What do you got?
I got a couple of them.
Okay, you go.
I look at homeless people the same way I look at zoo animals. I guess the only difference is I don't fuck homeless people.
Oh, my God. The only difference is I'm not shoving cotton candy in my pie hole when I'm looking at homeless people usually.
Well, what made me think of that is one time I was taking a picture of a guy washing his pants in a fountain in Minnesota. Like, everyone's like, wow, that's just kind of like Jeremy doing his Jeremy things. And then it's like me like getting close enough where he doesn't see me to get a close picture of him with my flip phone.
I think I just thought of a business idea. You know how our local zoo has like the train and you hop on and they take you around? We need to go to a big metro that has tent cities and offer tours.
Yeah,
tours.
Yeah, like you have like a fence around it so the homeless people can't throw their needles at
and
you.
then we'll come up. Well, it's like in Hollywood. You go by all the celebrities' houses. We'll go by all the homeless houses, and then we'll develop relationships with a few that we vet, and they'll even come up, and then we'll let our tourists like
beat the shit out of them.
Well, no, no, Matt. Just they can see him up close, like when you have a giraffe on a safari and they come eat from the bus.
It's like this homeless
guy, he'll come eat from the bus,
he
but
can
also tell people the history of his tent.
Yeah, you also need to bring him Arby's or he will not perform.
Oh, we'll cover him. We'll cover the Arby's. That's not an issue. I've been just saying, I think we're onto something. I once got accused of stealing something, and they said they found my fingerprints all over it, but I said I had an alibi, that I was in my apartment all night. There's cameras everywhere, so if I would have done it, if I would have left, you would have seen it on one of the hallway security cameras. And the only way I could get out is if I rappelled out my window and nobody could see me. And that's when they showed me the security footage of me rappelling out my window, and I was found guilty. Matt, are my eyes red?
Grappling hook.
Dude, they aren't even open.
You're fast asleep. Are we sure Jesus wasn't just a really good magician? I think if you put David Blaine back 2,000 years ago, you have the same effect.
That's true. Isn't that like was that inspired from like a Family Guy thing?
I've always had this in my notes of like, are you sure? Like maybe the guy just wasn't dead, and you're like, well, I raised him from the dead. It's like turns out he was just really hungover and like had been asleep.
Yeah, they show because he was there when Jesus was put in the tomb. Okay, we're in deep cuts here. Yeah. I never expected us to go back to the biblical stories of Jesus Christos. When Jesus was in the tomb, was there security? Was there guards out there Do you know, Matt?
I don't think so.
There wasn't. They just put him in there and left.
Or like the only witnesses to it are his best friends.
Well, what I was thinking is there was guards there, but they're either dinking around or they fell asleep. And next thing you know, you just see Jesus move the rock.
Or what if they just nailed
the guy? He looks at the guard sleeping and he walks away.
What if they just nailed the guy to the cross that looked similar to Jesus, and then they just saw him walking around like in a couple days, and they're like, "Wait, didn't you get nailed to the?" Oh yeah. Yeah,
maybe it was because information back then,
or maybe
I would hate to see a wanted poster
when
back
they
then.
sold like all those bread and fish to people. And they just didn't tell them that they had a shitload more at a different location.
Yeah, the logistics and information age of the biblical times, not what it is today. So yeah, Matt, maybe you are onto something. Speaking of the old days, we didn't have the modern luxuries we have now. We had the Schwann's Man, and a taxi service ran by a guy who chain smoked cigs and would occasionally let you drive. You ever been in one of those?
I did have a dream about the Schwann's Man.
Did you?
Yeah, I was buying caramel apple popsicles from him.
Yeah, you were. I don't have any more jokes.
I find it weird that JFK was pronounced dead hours after the fact. We've all seen the video. But they're like, hey, this guy's the president, so you got to take him back to the hospital. And do you imagine that doctor's like, yeah, they said this guy can be fixed. And you're just like, how do I put this back together?
Yep, he's pronounced dead. Happy I could help.
I tried this one chili and it set my mouth on fire, and I had to drink a 2-liter of Mountain Dew.
I love when schools or teams name themselves after something that's really bad that's happened to them. Like there was an Iowa high school that named themselves the Cyclones after their school was destroyed by a tornado.
Maybe now you'll agree. Drinking has its benefits.
But then I went really deep into it, and there's some really funny ones out there.
Like?
The Carolina Hurricanes.
Gator don't play no shit.
The New York Jets.
Championship.
The Virginia Tech Massacres.
You break your penis, they only fix vagina.
The California, I tried to do a gender reveal and accidentally burned down 2,300,000 acres of lands.
Smoke a little grass.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Well, that's our episode for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in to No Brains, No Headache podcast. Up next, we have 208, so tune into that. But first, Matt, what can our listeners do if they want to get more involved? They want to immerse themselves in the NBNH culture.
Oh, well, after a week off, we're going to be hitting the socials hard again, so make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. You can just look up No Brains, No Headache. You'll find us there. We are the most popular No Brains, No Headache now, so...
Nice.
And then if you want to leave us a review or a rating on Spotify or Apple, it is much appreciated.
Check out our comedy, open mic night every Wednesday here in Bismarck at 8 p.m. I will be hosting this Wednesday, quick turnaround, at Gideon's Brewing Company. So come check it out. Support local comedy. We will be releasing our fall schedule hopefully sooner than later. Got some shows lined up, so we're excited about that. And next up, we have episode 208. Love you.
Well, hello, boy.
That's the wrong one. Where are we at? There we go.
This is a freestyle to top of the dome. Here we go. And I do it again, 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 again. I do it only once. Again, again, again.